Today we look at Habakkuk chapter 2. We saw in Habakkuk chapter 1 that Habakkuk received a vision about judgment upon Israel for its abject wickedness. And Habakkuk has questions about that because God's tool for bringing about that just chastisement is a tool that is even more wicked than Israel. And so Habakkuk has questions. He is respectfully asking God, please help me piece this together. I don't understand this because this would even besmirch your own glory. And so Habakkuk waits, and now he receives more of the answer. And the answer begins in verse 2 and 3 of chapter 2. First, wait. The answer is going to be a little while in coming. My response is a little while in coming. But in the meantime, as you must wait, here is the key principle in verse 4. Behold, his soul is puffed up, it is not upright within him, but the righteous shall live by his faith. The righteous shall live, as he waits for all things to become clear, he shall live by his faith. This has been true since Abraham, and in fact it's been true for the entire Bible since Adam and Eve. In a fallen world where no one is righteous, no, not one, God substitutes righteousness with faith. With faith. Faith in him. Faith in his righteousness. We live before God only by faith. And, however, it's more than that. And we also become righteous before him. We are transformed by faith. Because the comparison in this verse is between unrighteousness and righteousness, between being proud and puffed up and being truly upright. Being truly upright. The person who is filled with pride, with self-will and self-promotion and self-protection is bloated. He is puffed up. He is puffed up. His soul is within him. The puffed up soul within a person is like the inflatable waving guy at the used car dealer. You know, he is full and he is upright, but only for a moment. A stiff wind or a child pulling on it will bring it down. Thus, it is not truly upright. It's just inflated. That's the proud soul. On the other hand, the soul that puts its faith in God is righteous and alive, in the sense and to the degree to which the one relied upon is righteous and alive. And to be righteous like this results in being upright and rooted and rock solid in real life. This one's soul is truly righteous and truly upright. So the righteous shall live by his faith. He shall have a soul within him that is rock solid. So then in chapter 2, verse 5, this phrase here, we should note the footnote here, that this word wine could be also translated as wealth. And the footnote here says that the meaning of these two lines is uncertain. I think it is certain enough that what is it? Who is the he from verse 4? Well, it is the Chaldeans who are coming and bringing judgment upon Israel. And they are filled with wealth that they steal, full of wine that fills them up. And therefore they are like the arrogant man who is never at rest. And now Habakkuk is understanding from the Lord what is going to happen to them. This is more of the Lord's answer. His greed is as wide as Sheol. Like death, he is never enough. He gathers for himself all nations and collects as his own all peoples. Whether it's wine or wealth, in our pride, what we can't see in our pride is that at the moment that we're consuming and using it, whether it be wealth or food or sex or power, whatever it is consuming and using us. We are the ones who are getting collected. People from every tongue, tribe, and nation, from all peoples, from all the nations. When God says that he is out to call out a people for himself, a bride for his son, from among all the nations, he is not the only party doing this. So is wealth. So is pride. So when God calls a people from all the nations. This has always been a rescue operation because we are at war. God has always been at war because the darkness is out for this as well. Pride is out to capture, to collect people from all of the nations. It has been this way from the beginning, and thus God in love has been at war with pride since the beginning. So then, to Habakkuk's question, whatever may come, the way to be like an oak and not the flapping inflatable guy, the way to be free and not captured by pride is to walk by faith, buoyant faith. That is a buoyant humility that exercises itself in faith in God, in His righteousness. Therefore, verses 6 through 17, the rest of the chapter is really, in essence, God saying, but I do have more to say about the more evil tool that I'll be employing. They will be plundered. They will be plundered. And their pillaging others only makes them more richer spoil for someone else. Verse 17, God will bring recompense. The violence done to Lebanon will overwhelm you. God will bring justice upon them. So the bottom line is there is no profit in pursuing idols. Verses 18 through 20. They have no truth. They have no life. So again, Habakkuk, the wisdom of the ages is this: come into the presence of God and listen. Listen to Him. That's how you receive life in this evil age. Thus, the pivotal moment of Romans, when Paul is arguing the very same thing, that righteousness comes by faith alone, he quotes in Romans 1, verse 17, Habakkuk 2:4, where he says, "For I am not ashamed of the gospel, for it is the power of God for salvation to everyone who believes, to the Jew first and also to the Greek. For in it the righteousness of God," in the gospel, the righteousness of God is revealed from faith for faith. In other words, top to bottom, faith alone brings righteousness. Why? Because it is in the gospel. If the object of faith is Christ, as displayed and made known through the gospel, then the object of the faith is truly a good and incapable source of granting righteousness. And this comes by Jesus' cross and by His resurrection. And so it has always been by faith, as long as that faith rests in the God of the gospel, and at the center of it all, His Son, Jesus. In the gospel, the righteousness of God is revealed and made known. What has always been spoken of and anticipated in the Bible, the righteousness of God that comes by faith. Thus, Jesus would say in Matthew 11, "Come to me, all who labor, all who are laboring and are heavy laden by trying to make a righteousness yourself, a righteousness that comes by the work of your own hands, by pride, by idols. Come to me and I will give you rest." The faith that rests upon Jesus is truly restful. Therefore, Jesus says, "Take my yoke upon you. Come into my presence, come into the presence of God through me, and learn from me. And what you will find is that I am gentle and lowly in heart, and you will find rest for your souls." You'll no longer be like the flowy flapping guy in a used car lot. You will be like an oak that is strong in your soul. You will be at rest the way a great redwood is at rest. You will find that my yoke is easy and my burden is light.